Hello everybody, G.I. Joe here, and welcome to my bunker here in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been hunkered down here in my basement, kind of awaiting the aftermath of Hurricane Irma, and I'm glad to say that so far just a lot of rain and some light winds. They haven't been too bad, but I do have some friends who have lost power, but fortunately for us, we're okay, and I don't see any trees or anything down like that so far, so far so good. We'll see how the rest of the night goes. But prayers and thoughts are to those of you out there who may be in Florida or any other part of the Southeast who are maybe dealing with a little bit more serious repercussions from the hurricane. So hope everything's going well for you guys. What I have here is a game. I had a friend over this evening and he just left, and we were playing a game just so I could teach him how to play Axis&allies. He had never really played. This is the second attempt that I've done to teach him how to play, and I wasn't going to film this, but General Hand Grenade on a video earlier today expressed how he would like to see some maybe strategy or at least some round review on what we've been doing. So I thought I'd just send a quick video just to show you some things that we had done. We did this a little bit differently. As I was saying before, the friend that I had down here in my basement, he had never really played Axis&allies before. He loved Risk, and so, but he's open to learning, so I'm trying to teach him how to play. And so, really didn't play this for strategic purposes or to try to beat him or anything like that, but more of to just teach him how to play and to teach him how the rounds go, the order of battle, and those kinds of things. So what we did was, rather than me play one side like the Axis and him play the Allies, I wanted him to not be overwhelmed. So what I did was, in the European theater, I played Germany and Italy, and I let him play the Allies. And then in the Pacific theater, I let him play Japan, simply because I wanted him to have a lot more pieces to instantly, from the first round, be able to use and to attack and try to come up with some different ideas and strategies. And then, of course, I played China, UK, Pacific, Anzac, and, of course, America. Now, of course, that was a little weird because America, I know, is divided on both maps, so I just used all the monies to purchase stuff for the Pacific theater. And as far as UK is concerned, I just made sure that he was able to purchase and use any of the pieces over on the Europe side, and I made sure to stay over here on the Pacific side. And I know that's not how you would actually run this game, but again, I was just trying to get him to learn how to play and teach him. So let's just take a general flyover and see what happened. So as I said, I was Germany, and what I tried to do was I was watching some of Sired Blood's videos, and I really liked his Cobra Kai. And so I thought I'd give it a whirl and see how it works. Now I must say that I made two huge mistakes right off the bat. The first was that when I was coming down into Southern Europe, I forgot and neglected to come into here and grab this for Germany so that it could reinforce Bessarabia, I believe. And the other mistake I made, so because of that, Italy had to take that. The other mistake I made was when I came down here to Yugoslavia, I came with too much force. So I actually took Yugoslavia on the first round of battle. So I was not able to retreat and bounce all of my forces over into here for my attack into southern Russia, which put me back at least one round, if not two. I should be further along in here. And of course, as you can see, it allowed him to reinforce a lot pretty strongly. So that was two major mistakes. And the other thing was, I thought, again, I was just experimenting. This wasn't necessarily to try to defeat him necessarily, but I thought, well, if I'm doing Cobra Kai, is it possible to also try to fake a sea lion and get a sea lion going here? So I did take out his Navy. I didn't lose as many planes as I thought I would, so that was kind of a good thing. I did go ahead and take Normandy. I know in Sired Blood's video, he recommends leaving that for Italy because they need the money. I should have done that, but again, I was not trying to follow a script necessarily. I was just more experimenting with some different scenarios, but I'm sure you can find several errors or fallacies in what I was doing here. As you can see, my newly painted Shapeways capital pieces, which I'm very proud of. So one thing that my friend did really well right off the bat while he was playing England was, England doesn't have a lot of money right off the bat. They only have 17 IPCs, I believe. So right away, he just figured, well, the only thing I can buy is 2 men and a fighter. So he did that for 2 rounds right off the bat. So I thought he played that pretty well. He did forget to reinforce from here over to England until the 3rd round, when I kind of said, you probably should do that. But now in the Mediterranean, he did not attack at all with his British Navy. He kind of putzed around a little bit. And I tried not to tell him what moves he should make. I just kind of said, what do you want to do? And he would do it, and I would just kind of say, okay, you can do that or you can't. Or I tried to kind of lead him. I might say, well, now you have a fighter here. Do you want to do anything with that? And he would say, no, I don't. I just want to leave it where it's at. So I know the results that you see right here, the Italians have gotten rid of all the warships in the Mediterranean, and they've kind of taken over North Africa for the most part. But so I know this is not an actual scenario that you would actually see against a seasoned A&A player, but nonetheless, I just kept playing, and I didn't want to say, well, this is what you need to do. What I did was, before he left here about 30 minutes ago, I just kind of gave him an overview of some things that he did and didn't do and maybe should consider doing in the future. And one thing was, he left way too many pieces untouched. There were so many pieces. He kind of ignored down here altogether. He didn't bother touching any of those pieces right there. Until the 3rd round, he left all of that alone. And until I mentioned something, that fighter in Gibraltar had sat here for 2 rounds until I mentioned something, and he finally moved it up here to take out a German ship that I had left in the North Atlantic there. So again, he's learning, and this wasn't about winning or losing. It was more about just a learning process. As you can see, he fortified there pretty strongly with Russia, and because I kind of messed up, as I told you earlier in the video, I thought, well, maybe I'll kind of start to squeeze in there through the middle and see how he responds and reacts. But so anyways, I'm pretty sure, in fact, I know I didn't do the Cobra Kai right and correct, but I was just trying to experiment with a few different things. But so, of course, with with Russia over here, he has 2 fighters there, and he has a fighter here. I'm sorry, a fighter and attack bomber, and a fighter there. But he didn't use any of these pieces. He didn't even fly his. I think he counterattacked me once down here and didn't even use his Air Force at all. He didn't bring him and use him, bring him back. So, like I said, he left a lot of pieces just untouched. Now, more so where he did it was over here in the Pacific. So my friend, who has never really played, he was Japan over here. These Russia pieces, I just moved over there here on this very last round. And actually, none of this was here. I moved all that there to show him, just some general things of what he could have done. But essentially, he left everything over in here. So before he left, all of this stuff, he only moved 1 transport out of this sea zone altogether and never even touched any of this stuff. Didn't use any of the Air Force or anything. So essentially what he was doing, he would attack 1 country at a time. I think the first place he came was he tried to cut the Burma Road. Well, he did it. He cut the Burma Road, but he was left so weak that I easily took it back, and he mistakenly put an industrial complex there. So that's why I was able to take that back quickly. And so, you know, he didn't bother with any Navy here in the Caroline Islands. He didn't even try to come down here to take any of the Money Islands, as Young Grasshopper recommends and talks about, of course, and General Hand Grenade and others. But, I mean, he left the entire Navy up here untouched. So much he didn't do. Now, when I was playing in America, of course, he didn't declare war, and we were getting ready. We had just started the 4th round, so I was going to attack if he had not attacked. But I was getting ready to... I was massing my fleet here and getting ready to make some kind of attack here. But again, not that this is not textbook strategy. I was just more experimenting and trying some different moves. So from there, I was considering either going here and then bouncing from here up to there. I did have enough Navy, I believe, to take out his Navy. However, since he left essentially every single piece that was original to the start of the game on here, there's no way I could have taken Japan, at least not for several rounds. But anyways, so when I was playing down here in India, as you can see, because he was very, very cautious, I guess you could say, taking only one country at a time, India felt no heat whatsoever, and so therefore I just simply started building tanks and shifting them forward. So buying a fighter or two or whatever, and then even some of my Anzac stuff started to come up here. I took some islands, took this, my Air Force came up, and I was getting ready to reinforce that and such. And you know, so anyways, again, just a general overview of how 3 rounds went with a friend who has never played before. And nothing about this is a strategy that I would probably necessarily use in a game, with the exception of actually trying to execute Cobra Kai, only I did not do so. I was so concerned about teaching him and leading him along the way that I missed 2 vital important steps of the Cobra Kai. So I apologize, Sire Blood. Please don't feel bad about me or think bad about me. But I was so wrapped up in trying to help him learn the game that I left so much money on the table. Some national objective cards that I just forgot to collect, and you know, and forgot to tell him to collect too, because it was just kind of overwhelming. So anyways, just thought I'd give you a glimpse of what we just got through completing, and hopefully there'll be more of this to come. This is something I want to do a lot of in the future. Of course, as my other videos have said, I'm looking to build my custom table and my bunker here. But I'm in the process of, you know, in order to play games, you have to have people that will play with you. And so I do have interest from 3 or 4 people, 2 of which have never played, and the other 2 have played, but it's been so long ago, and it's the older versions of the game. So I imagine as we play here for a while, it's going to be kind of a learning session. So not only for them, but also for me. So not sure our games are going to be that exhilarating as far as strategy is concerned, but from time to time I may hop on YouTube here and just show you kind of how a round or 2 went, and maybe you can learn from my mistakes, I guess. But I do have a friend, like I said, from St. Louis, who's an avid A&A player, and he's very, very good. And we've talked about maybe playing over Skype and him maybe come down to visit. And he has a job that he's able to, you know, work from home or even from satellite locations. So he may come down for a long weekend or something, and we may play. And if that happens, I'll definitely record that game, because that will be... he's definitely on the level. We're on the same level, so that should be pretty interesting to see how strategies play out.